Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alistair and today I'm going to be reviewing the ASICS Megablast. The Megablast is probably ASICS's most exciting running shoe for the road that they produced in many years. Yes, I said it. I put it out there. You're going to find out throughout this review why I believe that. And one of the main reasons, which won't give too much away, is this actually performs incredibly well across 3 distinct categories. 3 different types of running shoes all in one. That's really good. Yeah, that's the Megablast. But is it the perfect super trainer? Well, stick around, you're about to find out. Let's go. Let's start with the key specifications. They cost $225, which is a lot of money. So I will let you know whether or not these do provide enough value for that price tag at the end of this review. They weigh 7.7 ounces for a size US men's 9. If you don't really know what that means and how it compares to other running shoes in this category, well, it's incredibly lightweight. That's absolutely magical. And that equates to 218 grams, for those who love grams. They have a drop of 8 millimeters from heel to toe. That's 45 millimeters under the heel, yep, that's high, and 37 millimeters under the toe. So incredibly high stack, and a lot of people out there might be thinking, well, if a stack's that high, isn't stability a little bit rubbish? Well, no, it's not. More on that in a moment. The upper is using a lightweight, breathable woven mesh that's partially recycled. It has a little bit of support in there, but the most standout thing for me is just how breathable it is, and that's really important on a shoe where you do intend to be doing some high intensity running, as well as longer daily training runs. The midsole is using FF Turbo, a TPU foam, which is 32.5% bouncier and 9.6% softer than FF Turbo Plus. And the outsole is using ASICS Grip rubber compound with exposed foam for a little bit of weight savings under there. The exposed foam is the white sections, if you can't quite see. When it comes to sizing and fit, the ASICS Megablast is very much true to size, so go with your usual US size, and you should have a really nice fit. One thing to note though, and this isn't something I noticed when I first put them on, it's more when I started running in them, and that's that the toe box is a little bit snug. And you can probably see here it is a little bit tapered on the lateral side, the outside edge of the shoe, meaning if you do have wide toes, you might feel it a little bit on your little toe. You might feel a bit of pressure there. I did on the run, and this wasn't something I noticed at first, but as I did more runs in the shoes, that's something that kind of stood out a little bit to me. Not a deal breaker by any means, but something I noticed. The heel padding around the collars and the heel counter, and there's a little bit on the tongue as well, but all of that padding does create a nice secure fit. It hugs your ankles and your feet really nice whilst giving you a very good secure heel lockdown. And then the breathability translates to a nice airy fit or feel on the run. It helps with temperature regulation within the shoe and just makes those faster runs feel more comfortable. So absolutely love this upper. They've done a really good job. If you're enjoying this review so far, please give the video a like. Really appreciate it. I know I always say this, but the more likes you can do, like tap, everyone tap, the more you do that, the more I appreciate it, and it fills me with joy. So make sure you like the video, but also subscribe to the channel. I've got new running shoe reviews coming out all the time, and you're not gonna wanna miss what's coming up. So subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next review. And finally, if you've had experience in the Megablast, I want to know your comments, your thoughts, how you've been using it, how you've been enjoying it best, and maybe if you're comfortable, share your build as well, and maybe the pacing that you like to run at. Share all that in the comments. That's really going to help everyone who visits this video. It's going to help them decide whether or not the shoe is going to be best for them. Based on all of our cumulative knowledge of this shoe, that's really going to help. So please comment, and I appreciate it. Thank you. You've made it to my performance review. Well, let's get to it. I'm going to start by talking about the ride and feel, because that's really the biggest thing with this shoe. It's the most incredible thing. And a lot of that has to do with the FF Turbo squared foam in the midsole. It is incredibly lightweight, and although it's actually quite hard to poke, actually underfoot you get a nice amount of cushioning, but you get that response. It pushes you back, and that's what gives you that propulsion forward. There's no plate in these running shoes, or carbon fiber plate, not even a Pebax or a nylon plate. All the work is happening from this foam and the geometry. And I think that's really what makes it so incredible. It's what keeps the weight down, but it's also what makes it a very comfortable ride, but a fast one too, thanks to the foam. So there's a little bit of flex in the torsional aspect of the shoe. It is stiff to flex, and then it will eventually kind of pop in on itself. That's the foam collapsing, totally normal. But what I'm going to show you now is what's the most incredible part. When I flex it and let go, the shoe goes flying and I almost hit the ceiling. And I've got very high ceilings in here. So that's the most incredible thing. It's the foam and geometry, how it pops back. That gives you the forward propulsion that you really want if you are going to be doing tempo training, speed training sessions. Maybe you want a cushioned running shoe to run marathons in as well. That's not going to feel too aggressive like a super shoe or a carbon plated racer. It's also good for doing recovery jogs and long training runs. And that's all mostly because of this foam and geometry. Absolutely wonderful. Now, one thing I will say is after taking this out on a few runs, I did start noticing the drop a little bit more than I would have liked. It's an 8mm drop. That's kind of average for most running shoes. So I think a lot of people are really going to get on with that drop for sure. But I just feel the more I run in this shoe, the more I would much prefer a 6mm drop. I think that would solve a few things. It would make my run a little bit more relaxed. It would stop encouraging me to do more of a heel strike whilst I'm running. For those reasons, it would also probably mitigate the fact that the toe box is a little bit snug on the lateral side, because I'm not getting pushed forward because of a higher drop. So I think ASICS could do some real magic with this shoe just by knocking off 2mm from the heel, to be honest. And I'd love to see them do that in the Megablast 2. We'll see. But for most people, I think you're still absolutely going to love this. It's a fantastic ride. The traction on the outsole, the ASICS grip, is very good. I'm really not seeing much wear on here at all, and I've done quite a few runs in these already. And considering the stack height, it's actually very controlled when running around corners, or if you are weaving around people on cycle paths or in the town. It's actually fairly stable for such a high stack height as well. If you've had experience with the Superblast 1 or 2, then it has a fairly similar geometry in the midsole, and I feel like it gives you a very similar forward propulsion because of that geometry. But to be honest, this is light years beyond the Superblast 2, and I absolutely love the Superblast 2. I still do, got it here, I run in it quite a lot too. But this one just feels that much snappier because it's so lightweight. It makes it way more versatile. It feels less bulky. I think I prefer how it looks because it's less bulky as well. And in general, it's just the versatility that has me. The fact I can use this for tempo runs, daily training, recovery jogs, long training runs, but then also take it on a marathon race if I want to. If I don't want to opt for a super shoe carbon plated racer that probably has more forward propulsion and springiness and is going to give me a much faster time. The benefit with this one is you will have a much more comfortable journey throughout the marathon. So I think middle of the pack runners who want to get more speed out of their run, then I think the Megablast is going to be absolutely fantastic for you because you'll be able to train in the shoe that you race in. And there's a lot to be said for that. If you're wondering where the Megablast features in my best super trainers roundup, but also the other categories where it features highly that I mentioned in this review, then be sure to head up there. That'll take you to my roundups page on alistairrunning.com. I always keep them up to date as and when I review running shoes that fit on each one of those category roundups. Check that out. That's going to help you find the best running shoes for you and your needs. Well, you made it to my final verdict, and whether or not the Megablast is worth $225. Now, this is by no means a budget pick. These are very expensive shoes, and for the most part, for very good reason. And they do offer incredible value for money. When you think about it like this, these shoes can handle all your different types of training runs and handle race day as well. And they've got very good durability thanks to the foam, which does last a long time. But also, you've got that grip on the outsole, which lasts a long time too. So it's a durable shoe, and it replaces probably 3 or 4 of your training and race day shoes. When you think about it like that, if you average the cost of a running shoe at $150, 4 pairs, $150, that's $600. So actually, $225 I think is very reasonable for a shoe like this. It's an incredible one, and you just really have to try it to understand how special it is. So if you've been eyeing it up and you're not sure, well, I'll make it easy for you. You've got to try these ones out. Even if you just go to your local store, try them on to see if they suit your foot shape, because that snug toe box won't be for everyone. If you do have wide feet, you might notice that and it might kind of put too much pressure on your little toe. But like I said, it might be all right. Definitely try them out in store or just order them online and just check the returns policy, and you should be able to return them if they don't fit you. But as a performer, this one's awesome. Go buy it. Well, really hope you enjoyed this ASICS Megablast review. Hope it gave you the insights you needed as to whether or not they're going to be right for you or not. If you did enjoy it, give a video a like and make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next shoe review. Peace.